That. So yes, we have put out there on the site, Freedom from Nigeria, for people to sign up to be freedom advocates. We want to gather everyone together so that we can have, like every week, we can have the sessions where we come together and we tweet together, right? It becomes very focused, very pointed, right? With the group that I started out with, the Nigerian Christian Lives Matter and the Save Middle to South Nigeria. That's what we did to help change that narrative about the herder-farmer conflict. We have to drive the narrative. And so we need to come together en masse, right? So get ready. Next week on the session, everyone needs to come ready to get on Twitter together. If you don't have a Twitter account, get one. And then in this meeting, we're going to dedicate 15 to 20 minutes where we're going to tweet at specific people with specific information. What do you guys say about that? Let's put our social media where our mouth is. And let's do this thing. If we do this every week, right? Sending it to world leaders, the news media, to the churches, because the church got to wake up out of their slumber. Things start to happen, right? Things really start to happen. Okay, now there was a question on here. It's like every time we have this, meetings, somebody always comes up to ask about the question. Let me see. This one says, what's Nina's position on the kidnapping and incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu by the Nigerian Authority, as well as Sunday Igboho? Also, how closely, I'm not really sure that's where that ended. What is Nina's position? Well, this is a position. If you're going to take action against someone for whatever the reason is that you're saying that they're doing something wrong, there has to be equity, right? If you're going to go after Nnamdi Kanu, you're going to go after Sunday Igboho, you have to first go after the people that are actually killing people. That should be your priority. Don't you guys think? The Fulani herdsmen, Boko Haram, they see them, they're right there. But you're running outside Nigeria, making deals with governments to nab people. We're not talking about, what they're doing or whatever. We're not going there, right? Because, we have ideological differences in the way that, Nnamdi Kanu does his thing. We do have Nina says, we're a peaceful movement. We're the intellectual movement with a plan to get us to where we're going. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that you're going to leave the people who are killing hundreds of thousands of people, taking their land. You leave them, and you go running after people who are trying to save the people from more people from being killed. Right? Nina is saying that the people who are perpetrating the crime and those who are helping them, because in law, right? If you're an accessory to the crime, you do the time too. There's accessories to the crime. As T.Y. Danjuma said, they collude, and we see it. And we see the repentant Boko Haram participating in all these crimes. Why are they still calling them repentant and putting them in our armed forces? right? So Ninas is saying that the people who are perpetrating crimes need to be treated. They need to be apprehended first, right? And you need to come to the table. The US, the UK, the EU has said to the Nigerian government, your people have filed a constitutional dispute and sovereignty grievances. Go and deal with that. Go and talk to your people, right? But we need to be louder now. Okay, we're not talking just about, our voices or whatever. We need to be louder with our pens. You guys have heard that, your pen is mightier than a sword. Right now, our pen is mightier than a sword. So let's use our pens, right? So no, we don't adhere to going after people who are trying to save people from being killed. Doesn't mean that we agree with their methods or whatever. We just say, all those people who are killing other people need to be addressed. That should be their priority, right? That should be a total priority. Okay, do we have any other questions or comments or words of wisdom? Or are we all on board with what we're going to be doing? So after this meeting here, you guys need to be able to make sure that all your social media profiles are changed to the Million Man Freedom March, the Nina's Million Man Freedom March. Why is that important? Anyone that sends you anything, anyone that comes to your page will see it. Okay. You also need to get your Twitter account if you don't have one. For those that think, well, I don't want my name out there. You don't have to have your name out there. You can make up whatever you want. Right? You go out there, lots of NSAS, NSWAT, whatever name that you want, put it out there. Right? Get on Twitter, Instagram. We had one person that sent out one video that they made based on information that Dr. Augusta had put out on why we have to shut down the 2023 election. Because, in case you guys don't know why we have to shut it down, and we're not talking about boycotting, we're talking about done, not happening, right? The fact that it is at 99, it is that the election that gives life to the Constitution, because once they get elected, they swear to uphold it. Do you want them upholding apartheid? Do you want them upholding the hijacking of your sovereignty, your assets, inequity, no electricity? No. So we got to shut that down. Okay, we have to shut that down. So everyone needs to go change that. Everyone needs to get their Twitter account, Instagram. So she posted that, and within a short period of time, 100,000 people were talking about it. That's a social media impact. You guys do not discount that at all. That's the world that we're in. TikTok. If you know how to make TikTok videos, that's a good way to send out this information, right? So those are all things that we need to be doing. Okay, have a question here from Ekele Cam. Go ahead, you need to turn on your video and ask your question.
Well, hold on for 1 second. I think my video is on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It was on for a little bit and then it went back off.
Okay, that's me. Can see me.
Okay,
Right.
you can go ahead and actually close your video,
yes,
because then your voice will be better. You can go off video, then your audio will be better.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and go off. In your case, go off video and your audio will be better.
Okay. Okay. I know during somebody made reference to Palestinian and the Southern Sudan during the freedom fighting presentation or advocacy by Buhari and other world leaders. And I know leaders of this group John Garangi and the Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat, at one point they came at the General Assembly platform and made presentation for their people. This very million man match, do we have a spot at the United Nations to speak, or to even if for 5 minutes to the world leaders about this genocide going on in our country? Will that be a possibility?
Well, I can say that that's one thing that has been discussed, a while back. And as to what actually is going to happen, I'm not sure. But I know that's been in the works. So we just have to, as soon as we know, we'll obviously let you know on that. But one of the things that we are going to do is that when we're going, on our march, we are going to be reading out our proclamation, right? Because we sent it to them already. They know what it is. They're working with, they're working with Ninas, and making clear our case. Thank God for social media. Thank God for the internet. The world has changed a lot. And when we're out there, people are going to be listening, because we're going to be, live streaming, right? We're going to be live streaming. And we're going to have people around the globe who are going to be at the other offices, and we'll be feeding that in to where we are as well.
Yeah.
And as long as you guys on social media and really pumping that, right? All of this works together. All of it works together.
I agree, madam. What I'm saying is Tony Nadi, Professor Banji.
I heard you, and I said that. I said, as soon as we have the information confirming, what the end result of that is, then we'll let you know, because that's been discussed for a bit.
Okay.
So as soon as it's just like, like as we get information, we share the information. That's why we ask everyone to provide your information, so that we can put you on the platform, so that as news happens, you get it as we get it. Okay. So that everybody is being brought along together. Okay. Stephen, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. I heard from a reputable source on another platform this morning that the Nigerian government is now reaching out to the diasporans to break the ranks, now that it's realized it cannot silence us. Are you aware of that? And can you issue a warning to all the members of this community and all others to dissuade from responding to any solicitations from the Nigerian government or anyone for that matter? If anyone wants to register their information, they should be the ones that manually go to the NINA's website or any of the other agitation websites to do the registration, not responding to any unsolicited web links.
Yeah, I really, you know what? I really hate that word, agitators.
That's
because words matter.
We'll find a better term.
Yeah, because we're not secessionists.
Fighters.
We're freedom fighters, right?
Yeah, self-determination.
Agitation in the U.S. Remember when the Black Lives Matters were having their peaceful march? And they said they were thugs, right? But when it was a Caucasians, were marching, even though they were destroying things and running into people with their cars, they were protesters. Words matter. Let's just watch what we call ourselves, because agitation, sounds like a negative word, right? But freedom fighting, even though there's fighting in it, does not. Self-determinationists doesn't. Because that's what we want, our sovereignty. We want our self-determination back. We want to be able to determine what we're doing. So let's watch what we call ourselves, because those words have those connotations in people's minds, and they are so easy for them to just use that. Because agitating means that, if something is going wrong, yeah, what's going wrong is what's happening to us. What we're doing is peacefully saying, demanding, because you can demand peacefully, and we're demanding peacefully via the constitutional force majeure. They're shutting down the 2023 election, because it wants to bring back that constitution that was just repudiated or rejected as the basis of the unitary Nigeria. Make no mistake, that's one good thing that you guys need to understand. Unitary Nigeria is not one Nigeria. Unitary Nigeria is less than 1/4 Nigeria. Because the Southwest, remember the Western region, that was a nation. It had its own premier, it had its own constitution, they were self-governing, they were autonomous, they had charge of their assets, they had charge of who was coming into their area. They're nations, right? Eastern, Midwestern, those are nations, you know. The Middle Belt was supposed to have been carved out, right? Under that umbrella with 4 regions, think nations, it was one Nigeria, right? Now we have unitary. So everything from all those nations have been collapsed, their assets hijacked, their people imperiled. That's unitary, not one. Because Nigeria was meant to be a multi-nation country. That is where 4 equal 1. And in this case, where 1 doesn't equal 1. Unitary does not equal one Nigeria. Multiple nations coming together, similar like the EU, you had all those independent countries and they came together, right? And Britain decided that they didn't want to be part of it and they left. That's kind of like this, that's kind of like the concept of what Nigeria was. The Western nation, the Eastern nation, the Midwestern nation, and the Northern nation. And like I said, there were others that were supposed to have been carved out as well. So when those one Nigerian that start coming to you that, you know, you cannot, you know, we are indissoluble, indivisible, you're like, where's the referendum? Because before you can change, right, you need referendum. You can't just use the military to bring something in and say it's, you know, oh, look, we have, you know, we're no longer military. No. We had separate nations. Referendum and people voting is the only way you collapse it. The military collapsed it, but once the military was leaving, they needed to go through referendum and reset it to what the people wanted. That's what we're doing right now. We are restoring one Nigeria. Granted, Sharia in the 12 contiguous states in the far north, they have already seceded from Nigeria. Did you guys know that? Because you know Nigeria is meant to be a secular state, no non-religion. They've adopted religion. They've got Hishba police. They've got, I mean, they're mentioned everywhere in the Constitution. You might want to check and see if your Bible shows up in there or Christianity. I can save you that. It's not. They have already seceded. So really the alliance territory, it's really the only thing that can be considered to be in Nigeria, because by introducing Sharia, they have seceded from Nigeria, which is meant to be a multi-nation union coming together to work on certain things. It was a small center, right? And it was supposed to have rotating leadership. What we have now, where are the federations? Where are they? Federal Republic, where are the federations? So unitary is not one. So let's be clear on that. Anyone have any other questions? Now, yes. I'm going to give you, while you're thinking about that, I'm going to give you do's and don'ts. Yes, COVID is on. Those who are vaccinated, even now, because of that Delta variant, you still have to wear your mask. So at the rally, you need to have your mask. Security is going to be crazy. No backpacks. Okay, you can't come into that area carrying a backpack because you might get wrestled to the ground. Okay, and we're going to have all this information on the site for you guys, right? And then we're also going to have the information on the hotels and so on and so forth, right? But even people that are outside, even if you're in the UK, you can be part of our planning. Why? because you can get on the internet and research the information, call them, get the information, and provide it. It's not just those in the US that can participate, because those outside have been asking the question too. Yes, the internet equalizes all of us, right? So if we need information as to, where to find, water close by, you can do that from Nigeria. You can be part of the team, right? Send out the flyers. Send it to your friends, your family, your frenemies. Alma mater, social organization, cultural organization, professional organizations. And this is one important thing everyone needs to understand. This is not just about, let's us just, mobilize our people, meaning Nigerians. Do you know how South Africa got its freedom? When people like Joe Biden got very emotional. Have you seen his speech? We need to make friends. We need to make friends. So this is not just about just bringing out our people. We need to bring out other people as well. Because when they start getting very emotional about it, when they start getting making strong speeches, then we know we're doing something right. Does that make sense? We need to go there. Okay, Imoro, you have another question. And then we're going to be rounding up in a few minutes here.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me another opportunity. I just wanted to answer to that issue about the name. And you're very right, words matter. Just one word can make a big difference. I have a suggestion that we call ourselves revolutionaries. That, I think, is definitely a better word than agitators. Thank you.
I think the Nigerian government has made revolution. Remember revolution? They've made that. Is it Sowore of the revolution? They've made that one a bad word too. But yes, you can be revolutionaries.
Yeah,
right?
Well, worldwide is not a bad word.
I understand. That's what I'm saying. The agitating thing, it's like, I don't like the agitating thing because it looks as if we're fighting. Yes, we are fighting for our freedom, but we're freedom fighters, right? We're not agitators. Hate it when they do that. Because labels, when they put those labels on you, it sticks and it changes the perception of what you're doing. And so we need to drive our own narrative. We need to make sure that the words that we're using to describe ourselves do not give people the wrong impression that others are trying to create about us already. Does that make sense? Again, Jim, I'm gonna ask everyone.
Jean. I think freedom fighting is the best for us.
Absolutely.
It's
freedom
recognized by United Nations.
Also freedom advocates.
Yeah, it's recognized by United Nations in their act, and it's also in the United States of American Constitution. Okay, it's just the best. It's what has worked and worked during the revolutionary period in this country.
Absolutely.
And freedom fighting was what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did, on March of Washington. So let's just stay on freedom fighting. Yeah, because in American Constitution there is freedom. There's I think 9 or 11 freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of dissociation, freedom of association, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of this, freedom of that. So every American understands when you say freedom, because everybody wants freedom. You want the freedom and the liberty to yourself, as it is considered in the American Constitution and human rights. Freedom to be what you want to be, and so that they will be able to associate, with that more than something else, which may be right, but which may be not. I mean, they'll be able to connect with that more. So, and it's already written in the official NINA's flyer that what we are out for is the NINA's 1 million man freedom march mega rally. So let's just stay on freedom. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Stephen, you have a comment, and then we're getting ready to round up. Again, guys, remember, freedom fighting requires a lot of money and funding. Okay, so there are lots, this whole thing is Nina's. Nina's is the vehicle. Think about Nina's is the jet that is going to take us off in freedom, right? But then we have to bring all these other groups into the jet, right? You've got all different groups. We've got Ilana Omodua. We've got, when you look at the umbrella body, we have Ilana, we've got Lower Niger, we've got the Middle Belt Forum, right? And there's all kinds of groups that come in there, right? Even here, so a lot of groups are coming under Nina's and coming under the other and under the blocks, because the referendum is actually going to happen by block, right? So while Nina's is bringing all of us together so that we can have that mass to get our freedom, each block has to do its own thing, right? The Western region had its own constitution. Eastern, its own constitution, separate from the Western. Midwestern, its own separate constitution. The North had its own separate constitution, right? So because that's what I'm saying, they're functioning as a nation, right? But we're coming together, right? And we have different, lots of different groups who are coming together, both in the, in the Yoruba nation, in the Lower Niger, which is the Southeast and the South, and the Middle Belt. Tons of ethnic nationalities. And some of the questions that people are going to ask you is like, well, what about all those little ethnic nationalities? How did they ensure that they have equal say, right? That their voices are heard? I don't know how many of you have heard about the Charter of Relationships. In the Yoruba land, in the Southwest, that's a homogeneous group. But when you look at the number of ethnic nationalities in the Middle Belt, it's crazy, right? So you need a Charter of Relationship, which is being worked right now, that lays out how everyone gets to interact. Okay, Stephen, your question, and then we are going to be wrapping up. But again, freedom takes money, so please, you need to contribute to this rally, because we have to do live streaming, we gotta provide water, there are permits, all kinds of things that we have to get ready. So, let's support the cause. Stephen, over to you.
I think my original question was not answered. It was lost in the discussion of our proper name.
Okay, what was the initial question?
My original question was whether or not you are aware that the Fulani Republic is trying to break the ranks of the diaspora with an unsolicited registration. And if you will advise this community against. Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, they've had various incursions and different things that have been coming out, but you can be safe. Go to NINASFFN.org. That's where you get the information, right? And then you've got the freedomfromnigeria.com. There's valid information there. Then you've got the different blocks, and the different groups also have valid information. And all of their information should bring you to that one petition, right? So they have links that should bring you. If it takes you to someplace else and not NINASFFN.org, you've gone to the wrong place, pretty much, right? And you guys, I'm sure you guys saw that once Nina's announced in the papers that, we were going to be doing this, the Nigerian government now said, is it Gambari? And whatever, they want to storm the UN, right? But one of the things that this whole thing that we're doing and the march and all the, what the work that the freedom advocates and freedom fighters have been doing is not staying silent. The more we speak, the more of us speak as we activate the Nina's activating people power. You can't put it back in that bottle, because once you take the cork off, like the force of it, we're on the precipice of having our information go exponential. We're very close. Very, very close. And so always make sure that you look to see where the link is leading you to. Because right now, there's a lot of information out there too about, support. You can get 10,000 Naira if you support, a presidential candidate. I saw one for like a ticket. you know, but that you have to bring other people on board. You have to do this and that. And then they forget you for another 4 years in their private jets, the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris, the cobbled streets that make up their home, right? 1,000 naira every 4 years. 10,000 naira every 4 years. They're telling you that your benefits is only worth 2,500 naira a year. Who can survive on that? Knowledge is power, and power is freedom. Okay. So guys, the other question comes up is a generic message to disseminate to the lawmakers. Yes, that's what I was talking about. The website should be ready tomorrow. So you'll have letters, you have all that information. We've got people who are writing letters, they're being reviewed right now so that you can have generic information that you can utilize. We're also going to have the links to, you know, email addresses, fax numbers, and things like that, Twitter information. All of that is going to be out there, right? So freedom advocates, we all become freedom advocates. So we have a place to go. You're going to have videos there that you can that you can use, right? So we're kind of collating all of that under the Nina's Million Man Freedom March, but you're going to have that information over there. Okay, so you can be as lazy as you want. All you have to do is just go nab it and send it. Right, gonna make it real easy. Okay, so looks like we don't have any other questions, right? But again, you have to when you come in, if you're coming in, because we've got people flying in from around the world, right? We're gonna have some information, directions, etc., you know, on the website. But really, you know how it is, you know, with your GPS, point A to point B, it takes you there. We're going to have some suggestions for hotels because now is a good time to go ahead and book all of that. We're asking people to really, there's some key days, right? The 14th and the 15th, okay? We want a show of force in our numbers, right? The 24th, which is the end of when we're going to be there, we want to show a force. And then whatever day, like the Nigerian contingent is going to be there, as soon as we fix that, we'll be there in numbers, okay? So please make plans to come out, ask your friends to come out, ask your family to come out, ask those who are non-Nigerian organizations to come out and tell them to bring their banner. We want to see their banners of who they are supporting us. And then we have, for those in the US too, we've got the Black Caucus coming up on between the 15th and the 19th. And we're gonna have information for you on how you reach out to them, right? You're gonna reach out to them and get invited to the reception. So as many of us can get ourselves into those receptions so that we can physically speak to them, and make sure you take lots of pictures. Any congressional person, snap, right? And let them understand. And we're going to have these little cards that you can print out and take with you as well, okay? Because while we're in New York on the 18th and the 19th, we're not going to be in the park. We're actually going to be in Times Square on the 18th, talking to people, being ambassadors of our message. On the 19th, we're going to be in Columbus Circle. All of that information is going to be out there as to how to get there, timing, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then the rest of the time will be in the park.
Do you also want to remind people about Good Morning America if we eventually get that slot?
Sorry, say that again.
You want to remind people about Good Morning America, or should I tell them if we eventually get that?
Right. So we're working on, that was a great idea that Evangelist has come up with, you know, because, you know, Good Morning America, they're going to pan the thing, they'll have a segment. So we're going to ask them to, you know, carry a segment of our information, you know, and then, and if not, you know, so that we'll be there so that we can have our signs and so on and so forth, be part of the people that get, you know, shown as well, right? So those are the kinds of things that we need to be doing, okay? Every newspaper, every magazine where you are is important. Get our information in this. Just send them the flyer. Tell them to go to our website so that they can publish what our grievances are, okay? Let everybody do that. And we're gonna have, like I said, we're gonna have that page on the ninasffn.org. And some of the other groups as well will have that information for you. Alrighty. I think this has been a great meeting. Everyone asked some great questions, and I saw that people were really engaged. Now is a time for action. The time is now set for action. Okay. And like I said previously, the whole purpose of this process is to give knowledge, which drives our power, which gives us our freedom, to let us know that all of us, doesn't matter where we are, in Nigeria, Africa, Asia, South America, right? Doesn't matter where you are part of the movement. So let's get engaged and let's speak for those 100 million people who are unable to, because they're being starved to death. Okay? Okay, thank you very much. Evangelist did a great job. Thank you very much, Eugene. We're going to be signing off right now, but we are always here. 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is usually 7 p.m. in Nigeria every Saturday. We're breaking down the information. We're getting people energized and really getting the information so that they can share it out. Next, remember, everyone come ready with your Twitter accounts, because we're going to get into Twitter and we're going to tweet. We're going to have specific messaging that we're going to tweet out. All right. Okay, then thank you all very much, and do have a wonderful weekend. You guys can unmute. We're going to close down in like 3 minutes. So if you want to say hello to each other, that is fine. Hello, Honorable Ogaraku. You're welcome. Donald, you're welcome. Judith, you are welcome. Johnny, thank you very much for being here. And any information that you guys have that you can provide to us is actually appreciated. You know, like the media contacts that you have, religious contacts. You know, if you're shy and don't know how to follow up, just send it to us. You know, freedomfromnigeria@gmail.com. Very simple. freedomfromnigeria@gmail. Freedom from Nigeria@gmail. freedomfromnigeria.com. Right? Very simple.
Yeah, Jean, it's also necessary to let everybody here and everybody watching us online that are media people, that especially those who not be there physically for those 10, 11 days.
Yeah.
But that would love to extend, or that would love to stream our program live, so that they can so that we can give them access and the media.
Right. You guys need to send us the information, all the media. We want it everywhere, including Timbuktu. Yeah, we want it everywhere. Slovenia, we want it showing there. Czechoslovakia, right? Tibet, we want it there. You know, Alaska, you know, where there's only
Hawaii.
Honey, yeah, I'm talking about the small places. Everybody wants to go to those. New Zealand, Australia, I want to be there. It doesn't matter. Get our information into those places, into the media, into the, whether it's the TV or radio or print or their social media, get our information out. And don't forget the Nigerian media. Let them print our information as well. Okay. So again, thank you all very much. And we are shutting down in 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
you.